In this video, you will set up your spreadsheet to organize data about housing options. Each row will contain one housing choice. The columns will contain details about each option, like type, cost, address, bedrooms, bathrooms, or extra amenities. In the first column, type options. You will list the housing options you find in this column. Then, add other column headings for factors you will research. When you collected information about cell phones or other products, you enter data like monthly cost, storage capacity, and the service provider's website address. Record similar information here, including rental rate, price per month, and a link to the rental company's website. Be sure to include the address of the apartment, home, or other housing option. You'll need this later in the activity. Then, add columns for particular attributes that are important to you. Ask yourself some questions about where you would want to live. Like, how much does it cost to rent the home or apartment? Can you afford to live there by yourself? Sometimes it helps to share a home with reliable roommates and split the cost of rent. If you plan to have roommates, how many bedrooms will you need? Will you share a bathroom, or will you need more than one? Is the place pet friendly? Does it charge extra for pets? Can you walk to places that you frequent, like school, work, a friend's house, the grocery store, or restaurants? Add at least 3 or more columns for details like these. The example shown here is only an example. Add columns for features that would be important to you when considering housing options. You might also want to include an extra column called notes for anything else you want to remember about a particular home. You can always add extra columns as you search too. To make your spreadsheet easier to read, freeze row 1 and column A so you can always see the labels you created. Once your spreadsheet contains a column for housing options and at least 4 or 5 options to consider, check in with your neighbor or a partner about which details they included. Perhaps they want to consider amenities like an on-site weight room or a swimming pool, which some apartment complexes offer. Or perhaps they want more privacy and would prefer to rent a house over an apartment. Add more columns to track important aspects your partner thought of. When you've finished, move on to the next video to start searching for housing options. Now it's your turn. Set up your spreadsheet to organize data about housing options. Create columns for housing options, monthly rent cost, address of the property, and website link. Then, add at least 3 or 4 columns with additional features you would look for in a home. Freeze the first row and column of your spreadsheet. Compare your spreadsheet with a partner to find out what attributes they find most important. Add to your own sheet if you'd like. Then, move on to the next video.